Do you guys hear any echo? I don't, but it might just be on my end. Give it a few minutes, and sometimes it takes a while to do its thing. Oh, is it? I'll wait and see if Bones confirms. And good morning, Poi. Awesome. I suspect they changed the dashboard a little while back, and it seems like I had problems since then because there's a video preview, and even though I close it off, I think it's still playing and I can still hear it. So I've muted it now, and hopefully that will keep it quiet. But yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully, I'll try and double check all that tomorrow, and hopefully we don't have that problem. Maybe that's what I get for taking a bit of a break. I got a little rusty on how to set up the controls and everything. But usually I don't have to change anything. I just pop it on and it works fine. So I don't know. It's just irritating. So a bit about me real quick. I did go to the doctor yesterday afternoon. She has confirmed I have a nice little ear infection, which is causing most of my troubles. She claims that it shouldn't cause any of the dizziness, that if it's an infection, it shouldn't have that symptom. But I only seem to get the dizziness when I have ear troubles. So she's put me on some antibiotics, and I've got some anti-dizzy pills and everything. And if this doesn't work, then I have to go in to an actual specialist and do that whole vertigo testing again, which I am totally not wanting to do. I did that like 4 years ago, and it was the worst. So I'm hoping that this little regimen of medicines will fix it, but we'll just have to see. But right now my jaw is killing me because with all of the swelling that's up in the ear and everything, it's causing the teeth on this side to hurt really, really bad. If I take like some Dalfalgan or pain pills or whatever, it only like dulls it for like about an hour or two, and then it starts coming back with a vengeance. So not the most fun, but I feel slightly better than I did the last couple of days. So maybe that's a good sign. I don't know. Either that or I'm just kind of getting used to being sick all the time. So anyway, what we're going to do today is we're just going to kind of recap some of the Advent items that I did over the last few days that we didn't get to show up close. I was just tweeting the images out for you guys. So I think, let me see, I've got a list here somewhere. Before we get started on that though, I did want to mention I have added a special resource on my Twitch channel page. There's a resources section where it's got like a bunch of links to different fan pages, video sites, that kind of thing, all related to housing. At the very top of that list, I've added a temporary listing. It's something that Siskwe put together for us. For those of you that have been participating in the Winterfest dailies and have been kind of stockpiling your cold cash, and you're kind of wondering what would be best to purchase with your cold cash before the event ends, thank you for reminding me, Poi. I appreciate that. It is sent. Siskwe put together a little spreadsheet, Google Doc thing that lists out all of the items, how much cold cash they cost, if they appear in a cash shop decor bundle, how many comes in the bundle, that kind of thing. So maybe it'll help you determine what you'll spend your cash on, and what is maybe more efficient to purchase through maybe Omnibits or something for the decor bundles. So use it, don't use it. It's totally up to you, but it's there if you want to kind of shop and compare prices and things. Because there are a few items like the Winterfest emblems and such that don't appear in any of the decor bundles. So it might be, if you plan on using some of those, you're definitely going to want to spend your cold cash on those, because you won't be able to get them any other way. So I just wanted to mention that, again, it's on my Twitch channel page in the resources section that we have. It's right up at the top, and I'll keep it up there for, well, at least until the event ends, which is, I believe, January 1st. So you have a few days to kind of mull over it and decide what you're going to do. So thank you to Siskwi on putting that together for us. As far as the Advent, I think we went over the sled. That was the last thing we talked about. The next one was the igloo bed, which is what I call it. It's this little thing here. It doesn't really look much like an igloo from the outside because of the way I put the pieces together. Basically, it's just like not a full circle of the ice rock arches, but kinda. I meant it to be kind of like a dome bit, but what I did is I took one round of them and then I just replicated it and just lowered it. It was really irksome because you can tell, like, on the inside there's some of it poking through where I really don't necessarily want it, but it just worked out that way because I kind of eyeballed putting it together. I didn't really check the degrees and all that, so someone else putting it together could have done a better job, but so it kind of looks like, I don't know, a periscope or something coming up out of the water. But I wanted to make some kind of like a little holiday bed for a couple. A lot of people like to do romantic little things during the holidays, so this I thought would be a cozy little way of making a couples kind of thing. So it's just the ice rock arches all the way around, even on the bottom. It's just a ring of them to get it all. I kind of wanted to keep it segmented rather than using a single piece or whatever. I wanted to have those little lines showing up. For the garland around the edge, it's just the regular brambles, the ones that have the roots, just pressed in, and then I scattered habanero blooms, which is basically the vase, the floating vase one, since I didn't craft any extra habanero bushes, and then a little bit of the weeping cup flowers. They're a nice combination, the red and white. It's really pretty. So I thought that would be a good old bit. I also had actually intended to make a big bow up here, but I ended up making it much smaller than I had actually started with. It was actually hanging kind of about midway down, so it looked much bigger and fit a little bit better. You could probably just do without that, really. But the reason I had to shrink it up a bit was because I wanted to be able to actually get inside here, and you could see how I, even at the size it is now, I still get a little stuck. So I had to shrink it so that people could actually come up inside here and sit if they wanted for a screenshot or something. But those are the Dominion streamers. There's the blue version if you wanted to go with that. Of course, the bed cushion is just one of the stools, the cushion bar stool. It doesn't light up for me when I'm just facing it, and I think it's because it's oversized. It's not actually truly functional. I don't know if all pieces like that do that, but it seemed to kind of get rid of the green aura once it became a little too large. The cushions back here, those are just tribal mats, the rolled version, and to get the different colors, it's just This is the bottom of it, the dark one. It's the bottom side is facing up, whoops, as opposed to rolling it over where the lighter side is showing for the other two. The pillow, heart-shaped pillow, is basically more of the bramble with the firecrackers thrown in to give it look like it's got little berries or something on it. Probably not the most comfortable. It's probably prickly, but I didn't want to use the green pillows just to make something a little different. So I just use, I think it's 2 or 3 of the bushes of the brambles, and then made the little heart shape, and then just filled it in with the firecrackers. For the little tray here, that's just a firework crate sunk in, so it's just down there. The plate is several of the different kinds of fireworks. There's the green rocket for the green trim, and then you can see the Cassian candle is set inside. It's 2 of each, I think, to get that little, I don't know what you call it, scalloped edges. The cookies are just, it's the same material that we use for the cookies over here. It's 2 of the brown bowls, but I made it like chocolate chip cookies, so I just put a bunch of vent tanks on there. You could pick something a little bit more uh, oddly shaped, and it might look a little bit more natural. This looks like, you know, just perfect little dots of chips, but if you want to get it a little bit more rough looking, like maybe for not just chips but maybe raisins or something, then you can either find you a different item that or slant it just slightly so it looks a little misshapen. I just left mine kind of straight. Now it kind of looks like one cookie's overlapping the other, but really it's kind of blended into it because the bowl itself is a little bit sunk into it. But I did my best to try and make it look like 2 overlapping cookies. The hot cocoa, in the past, I think most people have been trying to use the ice rock blocks as the little marshmallows. And those are okay, but at a small size, they tend to disappear at a pretty quick distance. So generally speaking, you probably wouldn't even see them at this distance. But you can see my, as you can see my marshmallows even from here. And that's because they are the red rockets. I've just shrunk it down and stuck it into the liquid. And for those of you that don't realize, I'm using the teacup, which you can buy from the, I think it's Defile. In the Defile area, there's a vendor there right by all the other quest givers when you first port into that zone. Not Defile, is it Grimville? Blyhaven. I think it's Blyhaven. There we go. I'll get it right. I think it's Crazy something is his name. He's right there though, close to where you get the quest for the Firebird, whatever it's called. You could get it. It's not. I think it's bind on pickup, so you have to purchase it with your alts, but you don't need rep to get it. So I think it's like 10 gold per cup. Hey Faye, good morning. Glad you could join. So I think it's 10 gold per cup, but as long as you can just kind of port your alt in, you don't have to worry about gaining any kind of special rep for it. At least I didn't notice that Dill needed any, and Dill's like only level 7, so if that gives you any idea of what little he's done, or she's done. But I didn't like how the teacup was so shallowly full. You can see the liquid of the cup itself is pretty low. So I wanted it raised a little bit, and I wanted to change the color. The tea is pretty dark. It looks more like coffee to me. So I just put another bowl, the same thing I'm using for the cookies, into just kind of sunk it down inside so it makes it look like a cocoa, a hot cocoa. Hopefully, that's my effort anyway. So that's where you get the hot chocolate with marshmallows and the cookies. Don't think there's anything else on that. The other one was the cake. This one was kind of really quickie thrown together. I didn't really know what I was going to put on it. I'd actually thought about maybe getting some of the little snow lops and shrinking them down and putting them on top of the little snow areas, but I just didn't get around to getting any, so I just left it blank. But the idea is that it's supposed to be a chocolate cake, tiered, and then just garnishes of different kinds of holiday bits, and then some snow and with the tree on top. So for the tray, it's just the bottom of the multi-valve tank, that big O thing there. The garland is overgrowth. I used the thin one because it's a little bit more narrow than the others and it's pretty long, so you might not have to use as many pieces. I think I ended up just splurging and using quite a few, but the berries are the firework dynamite. If you're on the interior, you might can get away with balloons. We saw in a house yesterday that there was very little movement, but it was just as easy to get the dynamite. The chocolate cake itself is the yellow bowl, just turned upside down, and I'm just using the very top of it, of that bottom part. And then just different sizes to get the tiers. The icing is, of course, the snow clumps. I just positioned it as best I could to make it look like there's a little bit of drizzle coming off of it. And then the tree itself, I started to do just like I did with the heart pillow, just using the firecrackers as ornaments. But I thought, well, I'll try something a little bit different. So I just layered it up. Basically, it's the red bottle rocket. It's two of them, one for the top, one for this bottom part, and then a yellow rocket right in the middle to kind of make it like tiered, and then yellow rockets for the star. Basically, I just mushed them together to make the 5 points and then stuck it on the tip of the red one. And then, of course, overgrowth to match the garland going around the bottom. That's what's being used for the tree. So you could do it a multitude of ways using different things. If you don't want to use the overgrowth this dark, you could probably use the mossy one, or some of these bushes. If you want a different color, you could use the scrappy ones. There's the dark moss bush you could probably get away with using, and that one's already kind of tiered. Then you can probably just use a single one instead of multiple pieces to get this tree like that. Do notice that the star does disappear pretty quick because of the size I made it. So it's not ideal. Again, when I was trying to take a group shot of all of these, you could see from the image it was really tough to try and get everything to show up because there's a lot of stuff that disappears at a certain distance. Like the horse, all it is a floating taco at a certain, it just frustrating, but that's just the way it works. So I did my best to get most of it. But the plot is open to the public. I should mention that too. I opened it up this morning, so you're welcome to come and take a look at these up close. If you have any additional questions, if I didn't cover something to your liking, or you're still, curious about, something about it, feel free to ask. I'm happy to share. There's most of them are here in the bunker. There's a few upstairs, like the sled out front, and then there's a few on my main plot, on Carrot's plot, in the haunted house there, which we're getting ready to go visit here very shortly. But I'll probably leave Dill's plot open for about a week or so, just to give everybody a chance if they want to come by and take a look. You don't have to if you don't want to, obviously, but it's just in case you want to take a closer look. Because sometimes seeing things up close is a little bit more informational than just looking at a video or screenshots. So for those that are curious, you're free to come over. The last one that's located here that we can show is the stained glass window. This one, I've been actually wanting to do a stained glass window for some time now, and I just couldn't come up with a good idea. And then when the Advent stuff started kicking off, I was having trouble coming up with ideas for it, and I thought, well, why don't I just try a stained glass for that? So I found myself an image of a stained glass candle, and you can see there's imperfections, like there's a little bit of overlap here, but what I did was I took the Justice window and I kind of used it as a guide as far as the shape. You can see mine's not as smooth rounded as the Justice one, but it was mostly because of the item I decided to use for the trim. That would be the Hugel portrait. So it's just a bunch of Hugel portraits all around the edge here to make that gold frame. But I started with this and used that as my shape guide. Also the size and everything. Then basically I just Googled up some images of different kinds of stained glass styles. You might run across one or two that kind of are similar in coloring and maybe the position, but I had to make my own adjustments just because of problems on placing certain items certain ways. Like it was tough getting like a dark outline around the flame because of the object I use for the flame, which is again another Hugel portrait, just centered in there. For most of the lines, especially the straight ones, those are just floors that you're seeing the edge of it. I chose the Cassian because the edge of it is typically darker. It's not full-fledged, black, but it's pretty close. The sunlight or the light of the candle, those are just yellow books. And it worked out nice because it's kind of gradiated from a dark yellow to a lighter yellow. And it just kind of works out that it looks like I'm having it's got a bit of a glow on it. So it was just fortunate. It wasn't really planned that way. It just happens to work out in that style or look or whatever. You can see it's not so much on these two for whatever reason, but it's all just yellow books for each individual section. Basically, I just tilted it, turned it so that it's just a little portion is showing. The candle itself is just a firework dynamite. I just turned it so that the fuse doesn't show. The table that the candle is sitting on is an actual table. It's the Exile one. It's just sized up so you don't see the edges. And then the little, it's supposed to actually be one of those that has the little finger loop. I just couldn't figure out how to do the loop properly. So I just left it kind of like a plate or a little saucer that the candle could melt onto. That's just ice rock cornerstones, a couple of them, just angled just right so that it shows up. And then I divided it again with some more of those Cassian floors. Split it up. Same way along the edges of the firework, I just lined some more walls there. Around the flame though, and around the edges of the curvature of the plate, I used vent tanks. It's just super large and then just little pieces of it showing to get it to. So it's a little globby looking on those parts, but that's what I used. For the flame outline itself, again, it's Granok domes. The Granok ones also have a bit of a dark trim, so that's what I used for those. And that was it. It just took a lot of time to position like the rays just so to get them matched. Again, I kind of eyeballed everything, so there's like imperfection in it. You know, this doesn't exactly line up with the one across the way, but it's pretty close. So it was more time consuming than I anticipated, but there you go. Not very easy to find stuff to outline like you would expect. You know, it might be easier maybe to do the divide lines first to make your design with the leading, and then fill in the colors. But I kind of did it both ways, so it just kind of meshed a little bit. The rest of the stuff is located on Carrot's plot. Now, of course, her place is always open to the public, so you can hop in whenever you want. And for those that haven't visited, if you want to go to just the haunted house kit, just look for the Nutcracker. He will lead the way to the entrance. So the final piece that we did for the Advent, which was on Christmas Day, which I actually posted a day early because I knew I was going to be busy. Did you see that? She just kind of slid all the way down. Is the little pet house, the dog house. I knew I kind of wanted to do some kind of a little traditional gingerbread house, but I didn't want to do an actual house because I already knew a lot of people had been doing those already. Plus, we got the gingerbread house fab kit that you could get. So I wanted to do something a little different, and I know a lot of people have pets, so I thought it'd be fun to do a little pet version. So this is the little dog house. It's just some of the basic gingerbread pieces. Notice most of it's without the icing. I prefer the plain version. So it's a couple of the roof pieces, a couple of the triangles, I think, and then some the gingerbread wall doorway for the front. And I'm actually using the same piece um, for the sides. It's just super large, sized up. I had actually wanted to get some plain walls like I did for the fireplace, but I never could find any that were very cheap. Everything kind of like just went skyrocketing in price as the event is getting closer and closer to be closing. So I just haven't found any cheap ones. I also used the doorway one for the bottom of his little house, and notice how both pieces are showing. It's the archway here. And at first I thought, I'm going to have to figure out how to hide this part, like maybe tilting it down a little bit. And then I thought, no, I'll just go ahead and leave it there. So it's like a matchy-matchy thing. So I put the food bowls on top of the one. And that way I didn't have to worry about trying to hide it. His little cushion inside the bed is a gingerbread candy cane trim. I'm just using the very tip top as a little bit of a cushion. The little bit on top of his house is, of course, a rolled beach towel. I picked the one that looked most like a little, you know, those toffee candies that usually they're kind of folded up. That's what it reminded me of, so I put that on there. His little paw sign is just a bunch of domes. His name lettering is just ice rock blocks. It's just tilted so you see just one edge of it. And then just repeated to make the words, the letters. His little chew toy, of course, is just a standalone gingerbread cookie, nothing fancy there. I just thought it was funny that he would be chewing on a chewa. The food bowls, of course, are the candy bowls from Shades Eve. I just picked a couple that I had. Tried to get two different colors, so like the blue represents the water and the green is his food. Put a little frozen water there to make it look like he'd spilt some of it. The little puppy himself, he's just a ball of tires. It's the same thing I've used in the past for like the hair and things like that. And I thought, why not? He could be a little puppy. His ears and his tail are the handles of the frying pan. So he's got like 3 frying pans inside his body there. His tongue is a red rocket, just a single one. I gave him a few extra tires to kind of make him a little bit of a snout, and then put vent tanks for his eyes and a little bit for his nose there. Yeah, he's a tired puppy. And of course the red rockets for the eyes as well. It was tricky because he's a little ball to find something small enough that would work for the facial features that didn't stick out elsewhere on his body. So for his feet, those are, it's just an item I happen to have. You could probably use other things that are a lot easier to get hold of, but there were some gunner ship lights in my crate, and I happen to have 4 of them, so I'm just using them as his little feet pads. The main reason for that is because I'm at my decor owned limit. Every time I want to add something here, I have to go and delete stuff, and I've already cleared out everything that's been purchased from the decor vendor. So I'm down to things that, you know, you normally can't get a hold of very, very easily. So I looked through for something that I have 4 of, and that happened to be something. So that's why I use that as feed. Typically, I don't like using things like that because, again, if someone else wants to try to replicate it for themselves, they might have trouble getting hold of those particular items. But you could probably use a variety of things. Maybe just some domes turned over to make the hooves for the deer that we did. You could do that. Ugh, my ear's killing me. But it just happens to be that I had those, and it saved me from having to delete anything to put in something new. So, but yeah, the place needed a pet. I mainly just needed something here, so it's a little empty here still, and I could probably add some things here, but again, I'm basically out of room. I'm already at 2328 of 2500 as it is inside here, so of course it's not, I think it shares with the other the bunker house interior, but yeah, there's really not a whole lot more I can do in here until either they increase the storage size or I just buckle down and get rid of some stuff that I'm never going to use. Like, I don't know, do I really need all of these Grim Gourds? You know, that kind of thing. But there's just a lot of stuff that I don't want to lose. So we'll see. But that's that. So again, you're welcome to come and visit. If you have any questions about any of these goodies, feel free to ask. This isn't going anywhere anytime soon. I don't plan on redecorating this area again. I think the next big holiday coming up is Valentine's Day, and I already have a Valentine's plot, so I'm not really interested in doing anything big for that particular thing. We'll probably just do some general little projects, you know, for decorating ideas for a house or something. That's probably as far as I'm going to go on that. But again, if you have questions about things I used, or I didn't cover something in enough detail or whatever, you're you're welcome to ask. I will answer if I can. So that's that. So we have a little bit of time. I guess we could start on another offhanded project. Let's go back to the warehouse. And I was thinking of what we could do for maybe something for New Year's. And there's the typical thing like the champagne glasses, I guess, and of course we have lots of firework types of items, not just the fireworks themselves, but also the little explosion particle effects. There's the firework tab kit that people might be keen on getting a hold of for this little celebration bit. But I was trying to think of something a little bit different, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off or not, but we're going to try, I guess. Let's see. Let's see what space we got here. Got my little China dolls here. Let's see. Just like all full up. Let's see if we can move this one here. Okay, let me try and get her all linked up here. All right, Siskwe. See you later. And thank you for dropping by. Okay, so you can see for like the little China dolls or Japanese dolls or whatever you want to call them, Asian dolls, using the firework for the face, since they're supposed to be like little, I guess little mini geishas or whatever, the white seems appropriate. But for like a little person, typically you want to uh, use something a little bit more flesh colored. But we don't have a whole lot of stuff that can be, I know, like for the ballerina, I used the pink pillows, but that was like super, super problematic because you can only use like a tiny piece of it because the tassels hang out every which way. So I was trying to think of something that would work all right as like a flesh color. And the bowls seem to be the best bet, I think. It's a little on the brown side, but I don't think that's, there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm probably gonna run out of room here. Let me just move this over this way as well. I don't know how big this is actually going to turn out to be. So I started with a bowl. I've just got it pushed in so that you just see the tan part and nothing else. And I'm going to replicate it to make it a little bit round. Again, we're kind of going back to the little roundimals that we did. It's an easy shape to work with, and if you kind of keep everything within that, then you're okay. You can make this even more smooth if you want by just replicating it again. And again. And you have a super smooth, not super, but more smooth kind of circle. See the difference? Almost looks like a seal on an envelope or something. But you can make it as I don't know what you call it, scalloped as you want. It just looks a little smoother than those straight edges. We don't have too many like nicely circle shaped. I wish we did, but we don't, so we make do. So I have some reference images here, and we're going to see if I can put something together. I'm really not sure if I'm going to be able to do it or not, but we'll try. So let me just link this all up with that top one there. Okay, so that's all of the bits there. I probably don't necessarily have to have all of them, so I'm probably using way more than I need, but since it's there, I'm just going to use it as it is. And we're going to try and make a baby. That sounds bad, but that's what we're aiming for. Because when you think of the new year, you're thinking, you know, baby new year. So that's what we're going to try and make, a baby new year. So that's his head, and then we need a body. Does he have a neck? Maybe he doesn't have a neck. And then, all right, Bones, have a good day at work. Thank you for stopping by, though. Now, the trick is going to be to try and make some arms with these things. I don't know how easy that's going to be. If I turn it, I don't think it's going to look right. It just looks like ears. Oh, gosh. Maybe that's not the way to do it. Just try one. Oh, why did that go bye-bye like that? I don't know if that looks like a baby arm, but looks a little pointed for a baby arm. Maybe his arms are too big. Is that what it is? That looks too small. Oh, gosh. Does that look a little better? Try that. I don't know why the size changes when I move it. Oh, that doesn't match. It's deformed, baby. Quit that. Something like that. Oh my. Let's see. Try and make it foot shaped. Ah. And then hands, I don't know. Something like that. Kind of looks like he's holding a bottle. Oh gosh. Then we'll use, I could probably try using maybe one of the white rockets for his diaper. And just, you know, size it up till you get a bit that kind of looks like a diaper shape, and it, you know, it fits all right with his belly. So like this is kind of cutting in, so maybe a big enough size that's, oh my God, oh, there we go. That looks a little better. It's not quite. So there's his little diaper. Usually they have like some kind of a pen holding the diaper on. Ugh, my jaw is like throbbing right now. Trying to see. Of course, most of these little babies got little jumpers and stuff on and don't have just a. But like, if you wanted to put like a pin, you could probably uh, uh, I don't know what to put. Maybe some hanging cables, maybe. Um, I think the feet need to come out a little bit. Like it's a little too chipply. Anyway, hanging cables. Let's see. Like shrinky dink that down. Make it look like he's wearing a, one of those safety pins. You could get fancy and maybe try and double it so that it looks like an actual little pin part. Let me see if I can do that. But the trick about that is trying to make it look like it's stuck through the diaper. So you might have to get another one of the rockets, shrink it down a bit. Something like that to make it look like it's pinned through it. And then sometimes the pin has a little bit of decoration on it. You could use like a, I don't know, a rolled um, sleeping bag or baby blue. And of course, Baby New Year usually has a little sash across and it says, Happy New Year on it. I don't know if we'll get detailed as far as the Happy New Year part, but if you want to do a sash again, probably the easiest would be to use the edge of something, don't want to use white because that'll look like he's just got part of his diaper on him. Maybe trying to think. Let me think. Uh, Maybe a yellow would work best. Let me see. You could just use maybe, I think this will be kind of problematic, but maybe you could get away with the yellow book. The yellow bowl? No, that won't work. Yellow pillow, maybe, but I don't want to use that because it's going to cost some renown for that. Let's see what the yellow book looks like. Something, it's not quite what I'm looking for, so hold on. Let's see. Most of their sashes are white, of course. Well, let's just try it. If you want to keep it flat so that if you go to put letters on it, it doesn't uh, have issue with things kind of not sitting right, I would, whoops, just took his diaper off. I would, let's grab one of these. I would just use it as a round and then piece it together bit by bit. It won't look exactly smooth unless you use lots of them to kind of blend it all in. But at least there, this way, hopefully the letters would, you know, be about right. Now, typically the sash says Happy New Year on it. You could just put the numbers like 2016 on it. So like have the 2016 kind of in the middle here. It's just very troublesome to try and find bits that would show up that small and still look like numbers. So it might be better just to have it down below or something. But if you're going to attempt it, I would say like maybe the vent tanks. Those seem to be pretty good. Let's see. So let's yeah, 2017. Did I say 16? You guys know what I mean. So try and like make a 2. Guess I would go for like the digital look and keep it as basic as possible. A lot of pieces for two. Startled me. It was my bottle waking up. So 2,000, and then first let's I have to get rid of some stuff here. I have to go on Dill's character to do that. Well, let's just join this up, and we'll see if this even works before we go any further. And I'm going to have to clean up Dill's crate to make some extra room. That's why these holiday stuffs I'll probably be getting rid of after a week or so. I'll be saving all of the set codes, but gonna have to remove them off the plots. Okay, so is that the whole two? Yep. So clearly that's way too big for his little. So let's see if we can shrink that down some. So like there's the 2, and then what you do is keep it the original size and make all your numbers, and then shrink them down one by one and place them onto his little sash there. So that's what we'll do with that. Let's see. Let me just switch over to Dill real quick. I can't delete anything out of the crate unless I'm on the actual character that owns the crate, which is frustrating, but I understand why it's that way. But, I'm ready for more pills. It's too soon, but I'm ready for them already. Ignore Dill and her awful gear. Okay, let's just do a crate clean here. See if we can free up some space. Excuse me. Yeah, hopefully that's enough. If you haven't tried that yet, it's really handy for if you're doing like a project plot like this. Just designate an amount, and anything that costs that or less will go poof. And it's just stuff from the housing vendor, and you can specify if you want to get rid of anything that's renowned. You can list an amount there as well. I typically don't do that if I can avoid it, because renown's doesn't grow on trees. Hey Avalast, glad you could join. Yeah, boy, I wish I wouldn't mind. I don't think if everything was in the crate, if they just had a better search system, like have it in different categories or something, kind of like they do. I don't know. It's okay, I guess. Let me log back into carrots. Then we can finish up our baby. What else does a Happy New Year baby have? He has a top hat, right? Yeah, I wish they would also improve like the AH, because it gets frustrating where you use a search term and they go, it's too many, whatever. I know Cantius kind of takes care of that, or it used to, but it's still frustrating because sometimes I just don't know what it's called, so I'm just looking up random terms, hoping I'll pop something up that might ring a bell. Get in the doors, girl. Okay, so we should have enough room to make the rest of the numbers. Oh, is it? Well, uh, usually has to do with something like Father Time. Uh, it's like the old year is like an elderly man, and then when the new year rings in, it's a little baby, and they call it the Happy New Year baby. Um, and it's just the birth of a new year, so it just reminds you of the babies, and they usually have a little sash that says Happy New Year on it. There was even a little holiday cartoon kind of thing, like a claymation deal, where Happy, the little New Year baby, had like really big ears, and he felt all sad and stuff. That's what I'm thinking of when I think of this. So I guess it didn't occur to me that other places wouldn't have that, but maybe it's just an American thing. But we have some weird stuffs. Now notice I'm just eyeballing. Oh, crud. Oh, the core place has been reached. Oh my gosh. Let me remove this. Um, let's see. I think we saved the elephant. Let me check before we do that. That's what I hit. I thought it was the other thing. I think it was actually in the statues part. Let me just save it again just in case. Elephant. New. Yeah. Little elephant's gotta go bye-bye. Which one's is there it is. But you can always bring her back. Make sure she's saved. She was like 73 pieces. So yeah. Again, if you've never used the crate button before, if you just hit it with that item selected, it'll just create that selected item. But if you hold down the shift key and that item happens to be a parent of a set, it will create the whole set. So there goes Ellie. Oop, all gone. Okay, now we'll try and finish the numbers. Anyway, you can see I'm just eyeballing the numbers. I'm not measuring. Some of them are a little closer to each other, like there's not as wide gap and blah, blah, blah. I'm just kind of putting it in really quick like. Well, Ellie's fine. See if I can get away with. Oops. Let's see. Just going to quickly save all these together. Hopefully all of these reduce down well enough. I don't know if they will or not, but I'm going to hope they do. Let's see. Let's put the 7 down here. Looks like it needs another one. Something like that. Okay, so once you have all of them arranged, make each one its own individual set, because you don't want to save them as a full set together, because you're going to have to position these at a different height along the sash, or whatever you want to call it. And then find that magical size. See, what do we do? 10, I think it was. And once you get them on, then you can kind of see if you need to move, adjust. So like if you want all of the numbers to have, not go all the way to the edge of the sash, then just readjust a bit with the spacing. So you got the 2017. For the baby's face, well, let's do the hat first, I guess. The hat, we'll just do our tried and true tires. You could use other things if you want. In fact, let's see, just cancel that. You could do, well, you could do the vent tanks again if you wanted. Just do it like this. Size it up. Excuse me. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out the right size for this thing. It looks a little weird because I'm having to tilt it a little bit for the top and bottom, so that doesn't help. Maybe this should be smaller. Not quite looking like what I expected, but you get the idea, sort of. He's got his little hat on. And again, this could have some kind of a band or something for the brim. Again, a lot of times the year is on his hat or something, but again, you'd have to go even smaller with these because the band is pretty small. Something like that. It's not exact, but close. Of course, then you need to work on the baby's face if you want to do the face. Let's see. You could keep it really simple. Just give him a few little dot eyes. You could skip the nose, but add a mouth. That would be Let's see. I don't know if you want to try and give him a little tooth or something. Oh, that looks a little weird. Um, you could try making a pink mouth and stuff, but I think it's easier just to leave it dark. If you want to give him some ears, um, again, just try and keep it simple. You don't have to get too fancy with it. Try the bigger one. You like the tooth? I could try and put the tooth back. I don't know, it just looked kind of weird. Even his ear looking a little weird. Looks like he has elf ears or something. And of course, a lot of it would help if you like outline it in something to kind of make it show up a little better than the other. Maybe it'd be easier to give him some hair. Um, I would probably use like that way you don't have to worry about the ears. There you go. Full head hair, baby. Okay, we'll put the tooth back in. Let me see. I don't know how I did that. Shrunk it down. Oops. They were in my game. I don't know why that happened. Hold on. It's like another signal that I'm supposed to stop, I think. Just riddled with problems today. I don't think it liked the tooth. I think that's what it was. Okay, let me go back. We're about done anyway. It's okay. Ooh. Okay, back down into the cave. Yeah, seriously, I hope it goes smoothly because we're going to be here a while anyway. Okay, I think he needs some hair at the top because he looks like one of those clowns. Let's give him a little bit of hair here too. Little blonde baby. What was it doing? Oh, the tooth. Shrunk that down, brought it up, and I was tilting it. Let's put it to the side. So it's like one of his front teeth or something. There we go. Okay, he's not perfect, but I mean, you get the idea. He's like really goofy looking. I think I would have preferred the tire hat because this is very. Let's see if we can do a different hat real quick, like, and that'll be the last bit. Just gonna slide this over. Now he looks like a really old baby. Let's see. Friar Tuck, yeah, that's what he looks like. Don't know if we're gonna have much luck with the little brim thing though. try it this way. It's more costly this way, but all I can think of off the top of my head. Probably easier to maybe like get a towel, something flat but white. This almost looks like pearls instead of a headband, but my jaw's hurting, so I'm not really thinking too clear or brightly, so there you go. I like that one a little bit better. It almost looks like a weird sombrero thing though, doesn't it? Is the top hat like a little taller maybe? A little bit? I don't know, something like that. But you get the idea. It's a really rough uh, version, but not too bad for just on the wing in it. So there's our little New Year baby. Hopefully he doesn't represent a bad year. We've already had a really bad year, so let's hope it's a good one. Anyway, that's going to be it for today, guys. I appreciate you joining me and sticking around through all of the technical difficulties and stuff. I hope you had fun. And again, you know, if you have any questions about anything I use, be it items, the tools, whatever, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer questions. Doesn't even have to be on the stream. If you just happen to see this on YouTube or something and you're curious, you know, feel free to drop me a message in game or whatever, whatever's convenient for you. I would like to remind that tomorrow is the CBDC showcase for December. We're showcasing winter rides. We challenged builders to come up with their own versions of Winterfest themed mounts. Anything from sleighs and sleds to actual creatures like the polar bear that I put together. So it should be a really fun show. We've got 14 participants last I checked, and some of them have submitted more than one project, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys get inspired by what they put together, and look forward to showing them off for you. Um, if you haven't gotten me all the information for your entry, please do reach out to me before tomorrow morning, because once the morning hits, I'm going to make the final list, and that'll be the ones that are in the showcase. If you haven't gotten me the info for anything past that, um, it'll be too late. And do remember to make your plots public so that I can visit. I don't accept neighbor invites anymore, so except for special reasons like to drop off a set or something. So make sure you set them to public, and feel free to join us tomorrow during the showcase. I anticipate it to be a long one, but you never know, just depends. In the meantime, if you don't join us for then, definitely join us next week for Wednesday house tours. We will be visiting NA side next week, so that should be interesting. And if I don't see you before then, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.